This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Here's a great one from Jeremy Ray. He says, you said on here on the show that you're a big fan of Luke Harper, who's now Brodie Lee. With him now in AEW, what do you see as his ceiling? How far do you think he could go without the shackles of WWE?
Sky's the limit. He's got all the tools. He's got a head for the business. He's smart. He's durable. He's big. He can have a match with anybody. He's been put in a situation where I think you can add layers, to his gimmick that he has now. And the main thing above anything else is never forget the first time I saw him at a show here a while back, a couple of months ago, whenever it was, and he came up, gave me a big bear hug and was smiling ear to ear. And when you got a talent that's really good and they're really happy with what they're doing, you're going to see things you never saw before.
I think that's sort of something that's maybe not talked about enough. I mean, we hear guys talk about, oh, this guy's promo skills and, oh, this guy's look and, oh, this guy's moves or whatever the case may be. But man, if at the end of the day, if they ain't happy, you're not going to get them at their absolute best. You'll never know what they're really capable of until they're happy, right?
That's correct. I think that's true about a lot of things, but you've got to enjoy what you do or you're not going to be good at it. And that's any occupation, especially when you have the opportunity to be creative and have input and go out there and actually pull off things that you envisioned the night before, laying in bed or backstage or 2 weeks before or 6 months before. And man, I sure would like to be in a position to try this, whatever that would be. And now you get to go do it and see the smile on their face. That's what it's all about.
You told me one of the first times me and you hung out that you thought one of the most underrated talents in the company was Luke Harper. And obviously you watch wrestling a lot different than we fans do. You were really paying attention to the intricacies of his performance and the way he put his match together and how it was never the same thing. He would always mix it up just a little bit to the point that maybe fans didn't notice, but it caught your attention in a big way, right?
Yeah, fans aren't, in tune as to who's making things fly. That's why when you're young and you're a kid, you're watching and you want to cheer for the good guy because you think the good guy's actually kicking the bad guy's ass and he deserves it. When in reality, the bad guy is making and creating most of the excitement. And he's getting his ass handed to him in creative ways because it's all coming from him. And that's his job description. So Luke Harper was a guy that, number one, Bray was the man.
Right.
That's the guy that they were going to put up on the top of the mountain and on his throne. And then you had Big Red, who was a little green, but a monster on the other side. So you didn't want to bounce Big Red around. You didn't want to bounce Bray around. So who does that leave? That leaves Harper. But you got to do it in a way where it doesn't make him the weak sister. And he was smart enough to know how to do that. He was smart enough to know how to feature Big Red, put him in a situation where he was a monster, and all the time, because the gimmick called for it, being a little bit subservient to Bray. And I would watch how the matches would go and, the blend of things going on in the ring. And I could tell who was putting a lot of that together, and that was Luke.
Stay tuned, boys and girls. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Concussed Jones wants to know, why do you think Pete Dunne hasn't been called up to the main roster in WWE? I don't know if you've had much interaction with him, but he's a great wrestler, a great talker. He's believable. He has everything I think it takes to be a huge player, but he's not on the main roster. Do you know why?
No, agreed. Maybe he's being protected because once you get thrown up into the Shark Tank, most guys that come from NXT, some of them, not say most, but a lot of them have a hard road to hoe coming to the main roster, not by anything they've done wrong, but that just seems to be the case. Pete Dunne's one of my favorite guys. He's a nasty sumbitch. Reminds me of a young Steve Regal, just loves to just just maul you and mug you and stretch you and all that stuff, but in a working way. You can tell he's a very qualified talent, but you believe everything he does. And that's the key to getting over.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.